Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. And it's time to talk about the DCEU. Just want to make sure that you guys all know that Black Adam spoilers will be in this discussion. We will be talking about post Black Adam, what's going to be happening within the DCEU, and all the sort of rumors that we've been hearing regarding some of the stuff that's going to be coming up. Now, oh, sorry, I'm not sure. Sorry, I apologize about that. So, I know, cousin Chito's seen parts of Black Adam, but he doesn't care about spoilers too much. Gary's seen Black Adam. I've seen Black Adam. We all know regarding that infamous ending of Black Adam. Now, if not many people know about this, but well, thank you. Sorry, this is for you, Daniel. So for you, Gary.
Cheers, Daniel.
Now, not many people know about this, but when we saw Superman turn up at the end of Black Adam in the post credit scene, that particular shot was filmed just last month in September. And rumors are is that a couple of months ago during the summer, when Rock was promoting Black Adam, he kind of got booed when it came to the rumors regarding Superman. Is Superman going to be in it? And he heard apparently somebody said that sorry, he said that Superman will be in it, but it might not be the same actor, and that got a very negative response. And that's not heel heat he was getting; he was getting negative heat, and obviously he doesn't want that. Being a successful movie star, he only weighs up, not down, far as he's concerned. So you can tell that Rock's influence in the game. Walter Hamada, former Warner Brothers CEO, has retired, and he was one of the the blocks when it came to Henry Cavill coming back as Superman. So he's now out of the way. Henry Cavill did show up at the end of uh, of Black Adam. The rumors are of a Man of Steel 2 coming out. We obviously know about him showing up in the Flash as well. There is there is so much happening at this particular moment in time within the DCEU. The Rock's influence in the DCEU has really shuffled the pack, really ruffled the feathers, so to speak. Certain people are going. Rock obviously playing his hand. He knows that he can only ever be a bit part player in the Marvel universe if he ever joined that. But within DC, he can be the main man, even as Black Adam, who, in my opinion, only until recently was not even a B list character, possibly C list even, and has now basically catapulted himself into the main character, one of the main characters within the DCEU. This is amazing news. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what comes from all of this. Right now, it's all just a speculation mill. But how are you feeling about some of this? I'll start with you, Gary.
I'm really excited because the thing is that I know I'm the Marvel fanboy, and I know I'm the DC fanboy, but to me, if Marvel's successful and DC successful, then the comic book genre is successful in run because then the two companies are doing their best work because you. I don't know whether you two agree with this, but you're only as good when somebody's pushing you. Because the thing is, Marvel's just been well, basically on its own. I mean, DC's been
Right? Yeah.
putting out like spot films, but it's not really been putting out consistent films. Like the thing is that with the best will in the world, not a lot of people are divided on a lot of the DC output until now. I mean, like for example, my favorite DC films have been Shazam, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman. I do like Man of Steel. I do think, even though there are parts of it I don't like, I do think there are parts of it that. I mean, the thing is that I do think Henry Cavill is a great Superman. I just don't think he's been given the platform to be a great Superman, if that makes sense. But so
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see if they use this sort of like jumping off point to make Henry Cavill be the good Superman I know he can be. I mean, to you, as I said, there's a very high bar set by Christopher Reeve, and I think he can get there. In my personal opinion, I don't know what you two think.
Well, before I pass it on to Cheetah, I just want to say, Christopher Reeve is Christopher Reeve, and I think he was a Superman of that era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've always said that Superman of today's era would be somebody that, even though he would be emulating Christopher Reeve and being maybe your friendly neighborhood Superman, there would be even the most, there'll be always people who'll be very, who would be very skeptical of him because he's an alien, he's from another world, he's got superpowers, he could be a god among us if he wanted to. And in some comic book adaptations, he has been a tyrant. So I like the fact that no matter what good he does, there'll always be regular people who will be scared of him, who'll be skeptical of him, who will never like him for what he is, and will always think of the negative. And I think that's just the world we live in today. It's a reflection of today's world. And I find I find someone like Henry Cavill kind of encapsulates that to a degree. With some, we've seen him. You saw what happened at the end of Man of Steel when Metropolis was, or was it Gotham, whatever it was totally destroyed by the Kryptonians. That's never going to. That's always going to fall. In some people's minds, that's always going to be a bad thing. But we'll see where we go with Man of Steel 2. I think it's going to be a totally different direction. Cousin Cheeto, with some of the news that's been unearthed regarding and Dwayne Johnson's, being a massive shot caller now within DC. What have you got to say?
I mean, it goes back to kind of why we decided to broach this topic of, about The Rock's place in the DCEU.
It was Gotham.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. The Rock went onto Twitter not a couple weeks ago. It was either a couple weeks ago, a couple days ago. I don't remember, but I saw the tweet, and he's basically saying that Black Adam is going to be the new phase that begins the new phase 1 of the DCEU. So I don't know if he's being a bit presumptuous at this point, because I mean, Black Adam, although was a fine movie from what I understand, and it was, as I said, I haven't seen it in its entirety, so I'm not going to sit here and judge the movie. But from what I've heard, it's been a okay movie to some ginger MFers who just don't like anything. So, and if he came here, and I'd still say it to his face anyway. But so I just do, and me and you, Zam, started talking about the fact that we're like, are we in a unprecedented era of where the DCEU is now being rekindled by Dwayne Johnson's star power, and is he going to be kind of like the figurehead of the DCEU at this point, even behind the scenes? Like, not like a Kevin Feige creatively, but more like a Robert Downey Jr. in star power, Yeah. So, and I know that I don't think that The Rock has as much star power as Robert Downey Jr. does now, but I do believe that The Rock is definitely trending that way. Everybody knows The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Like,
I think The Rock is bigger than him at this particular moment. Robert Downey Jr. hasn't been anything of significance since Endgame, and he made that Dr. Dolittle, which was an absolute flop. So I think right now Rock's star power is considerably brighter.
Okay. And what I mean is, like, in the heyday of the MCU, like phase 1, like, for Robert Downey. I mean, no, before Iron Man, he was not, like, RDJ was not anywhere near star power. And then Iron Man came out, and then all of this stuff started coming out about a new possible Captain America, Thor, Avengers, all this stuff. So, I mean, yeah, it kind of rocks. So the Rock's already got more star power than RDJ had back then, but is this going to, like, is that what he's trying to do? Is he trying to use his star power to piggyback the DCEU off and take it up? The problem is that they need to get their Kevin Feige in place. I know we're using Kevin Feige as an example, but they need to get their Feige in place now in the inception. They can't just dive, to coin what you just said, a Dr. Doolittle bullshit, around and, I get Jeff Johns, probably not Jeff Loeb or Jim Lee, but like there are people out there that know this stuff and that are creative, and they can have their Kevin Feige. They just need, I mean, honestly, if you gave Greg Berlanti from the Arrowverse, if you gave him a movie budget, I honestly feel like he would, like, the Arrowverse, yes, it suffers from oversaturation and lack of budget, because all of their shows require should have a much larger budget than what they have. And I feel like if you gave the reins to like a Greg Berlanti, then I really feel like they would get it going in the right direction. And as I said, it's movies, so you don't really get oversaturated. Like, it's not like a 24 episode run in 1 year. It's more like, here's a movie here. It's kind of like the early MCU: movie here, movie here, movie here, movie here. Here's a show like Peacemaker, and but Berlanti was very good about kind of juggling those hats and at least making these different IPs interesting. I just think it suffered from being too long of seasons. Like, I think that the Arrowverse should have dipped down into like the 12 to 13 episode format a long time ago. Like, I felt like it just got over when there was 4 or 5 shows on. They really should have just been like, okay, we're gonna cut the seasons in half. We're gonna condense a lot of this, the filler stuff, and cut out the filler and just condense the seasons down a little bit. And you could do that with movies too. Like, if he's doing movies and he actually has a budget, you might be able to actually get the Arrowverse is no stranger to is no stranger to fan service and good fan service, because they've done it a lot. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
they've done it a lot.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. But like, it's like, that's why I think The Rock is good, because Rock's got the star power. Rock can be the RDJ. They got to get somebody in that Feige position that keeps it all together.
Does it have to be an individual though? Like, could it be a conglomerate of people?
I don't think so. I feel like when you get more people involved, then you get more of the right hand not knowing what the left hand is doing, and then you get inconsistencies. Look at Sony and Marvel. Like, everything is usually pretty tight knit throughout all of the MCU until you get to Spider-Man. Once Spider-Man started coming in, and then Sony started doing their own thing, you started getting some inconsistencies in the MCU because there's 2 different studios. Still, like, if you have 2 different people steering the ship, I feel like there's going to be some. And I mean, I guess the opposite of that point is the Russo brothers. Like, they work very well together. I mean, maybe Berlanti. Who's the other one? Who does with Berlanti on the Arrowverse? I don't even remember his name.
I've forgotten his name.
Huh?
Jeff Jones.
Jeff Jones.
Well, no, Jeff Johns does some of that, but no, it was Berlanti and somebody else who started the Arrowverse. But like, you might be able to get 2 people, maybe, as long as they talk often and they compare notes and all that. But like, I would just be worried about that. But with The Rock and the star power, they need to hit it now. Hit the ground running now. They need to tie The Rock down. They need to tie whoever they're going to get into that position down, and they need to start formulating a plan. It can't just be Black Adam is supposed to be the launching point and done. You know what I mean? Like, because if we go into what's next, the Flash, is that next?
The Flash.
If the Flash is next,
she's on next as well. I'm not sure which one comes out first.
No, it looks like yeah,
and there's Aquaman 2 as well.
Or I'm sorry, March 17th is Shazam got Fury of the Gods. So they really need to and hopefully, I mean, I know Shazam Fury of the Gods has already done filming and everything, but they really need to get this shit together. And I don't know. I really, as I said, I want them to be successful. Gary's right. When you have 2 big competing sources that are doing good content, like the Monday Night Wars, you get good content, like it. So you need that.
Well, the thing is that me personally, I think the problem is with the DC is that they tend to listen to it's just telling good stories and just let people. I think they're worried about, like, the bad press again. That's the reason they restart it every 5 minutes. It's just like, the Marvel universe didn't always great.
You're chopping.
Yeah, you're really choppy,
boss man. You're chopping up really badly, dude.
I don't know.
You really are. You've got some Max Bygraves going.
Oh, sorry. That's right. But the point I make is that the Marvel movies will always, age off. Sometimes.
Boss man, turn your webcam off. Like, just use
audio. Yeah. I recommend it.
Okay, is that better?
Oh, that's so much better.
Much better.
Okay. But what I'll say is that the MCU didn't always have, A-level movies. Sometimes it had D-level, like Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, trying to think of other movies that kind of didn't hit as well as they thought they would do. Like, I'd say, I'm sure that if we went around the three of us, we could all think of movies that, were as great as it could be. And the thing is, what DCU does is that it goes, "Oh, that didn't work. Let's restart." Whereas then, no, let's go forward, but let's learn from that error and go forward with it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, but that's why I'm saying, like, they need to hit the ground now. And as I said, if as I said, I've not heard like the Black Adam is a spectacular movie. I have not heard that it is a amazing piece of cinematic work. But if you're going to sit there and you're going to put it out there and say, like, as you're Dwayne Johnson, and you're saying this is our phase one, you need to act like it is your first movie of phase one and hit the ground running. Unlike Ginger Greek, who hits the bed sleeping. So
I was out like a light. Sorry about that, boys. Painkillers zonked me right out. But I'm back. And
you got a little jizz right there.
Can't be helped. I've also got an infected eye right there.
Ooh.
You can see, yeah. Look at that bad boy.
So,
anyway.
Well, I think the thing is that I think we'll be able to see the direction that the DC EU is heading with the Flash, because I think the Flash will be a jumping off point for the brand new direction that the DCU is going, because from what I'm gathering from what people have said is that it's kind of a reboot or redone, like months flashpoints over. We're going to have Robert Pattinson instead of Ben Affleck. We're going to have Henry Cavill still as Superman. We're going to have, Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot as it. We're going to have, Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Back
what about Ezra Miller himself? Because that guy's a walking fuck up, and he.
Well, hopefully Greg Gustin will do it.
Hopefully, I mean, like I said, we've already mentioned Cheetah. And we basically talked, because of the time travel shenanigans. You could easily say somebody like one of his peers saying, "You better watch out, Barry. You time travel too much. You might not come back as the same person." And then obviously that could hint to the fact near the end of the movie that he comes back as fucking Grant Gustin. And boom, that's what we could do regarding that. Because honestly, I think Ezra Miller, he doesn't deserve a third or fourth or fifth chance. He needs to go. He really does.
And also, I mean, the thing is that they could also use it as a jumping off point for the Blue Beetle movie. Because the thing is that the Blue Beetle probably has the most awesome alien invasion kind of like plot thing that do, because it's not something that is like War of the Worlds where it attacks you head on. It kind of like puts like ideas and kind of like alters food supply and stuff like that. It's kind of insidious, where it's like, and I think that could be interesting, because the thing is, I think everybody's sick of like Independence Day and that kind of alien, where they'd rather see the more sort of like slow building villain.
Well, if you have an alien invasion in blue, if you have an Asian invasion, an alien invasion in blue,
it's an Asian invasion,
or an Asian invasion. You know what I mean? But regardless, then eventually you can
takes place in Bradford. Oh, racist!
No.
But the point is that once you make it world scale, then people will always be asking, "Where's the Justice League? Where's Superman? Where are all these people?" Because if aliens are invading the Earth, then you expect the big guns to come out to save the day, not just tiny little.
It's not like an alien invasion.
Oh, okay, I thought that's what you were mentioning.
No. The alien invasion basically is more they alter the food supply. They kind of like make themselves out to be traders,
like they've done in Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Like they did in Young Justice years ago. I mean, like the Blue Beetle storyline in Young Justice was phenomenal. Like, if you guys
just take that and put it into a film.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I never saw that.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, no, but Young Justice did an amazing job with that. But I'm all for it. I don't care if it's almost word for word or plot for plot. Give it to us with this scope of characters.
Yeah, I agree.
Ginger, as you joined us, give us your opinion on Black Adam and what you think of the future of the DCEU.
Well, Black Adam was just bland. Like, it was just generic. It to say it's bad, it's not fair. It's just bland. Because I just watched it and I was just disappointed because I like Dwayne and I like the character Black Adam, but they just played it like Dwayne's every other character, with less personality, and it was just like, it was just frustrating. Pierce Brosnan carried the whole film for me. I absolutely loved him, and if that's going to be setting up your phase one, you're not off to a good start. But there's a lot of factors to play in here. So, first of all, I just one other thing about Black Adam is they changed when the film was supposed to take place. It was supposed to take place around about just before, I think, the World War II era or around World War II era, and they changed it and they brought it to modern times / a little bit into the future or whatever, and that ruined it off the bat for me because the Justice Society of America would have been great with its original team set back in that era. Could have had a lot more fun with it. And then going forward, you could have set up the next phase of it. Or you could have had hints of like the... don't sniff me. I haven't showered.
Dixie.
Hey, Dixie. Don't sniff me. I haven't showered. But you could have set up things. You could have had parts of Flashpoint play into Black Adam as well. But they just went down a bland generic route and they kind of scuffed it. Even seeing what we saw in the post-credit scenes. I don't know if you're talking spoilers or not. So
yeah, we are.
We are.
Okay. All right. Well, even when Superman pops up, it's just like, well, it's good that they got Cavill back, but it was just like thrown in there just to kind of get the audience's juices flowing. In terms of Flashpoint, it's a difficult one. It really is a difficult one because Ezra Miller, Warner Brothers are adamant and they're going to shoot themselves in the foot that they want to give this guy a chance. They want to give him a second chance. But now, he could be facing actual jail, like actual prison time. And where do you go with that? I'm with everyone else where I think Grant Gustin should be given the role. He is amazing. Even for a WB actor, he is way too good for the WB. And I think he should take the mantle to carry on
the CW? You mean the CW, not the W?
I'm calling out of what it used to be called, the WB. But yeah, CW, yeah. Sorry. He should carry the mantle. Ezra should just his Flash should get killed off. They should actually just kill him off to say, yeah, there's no chance of this one coming back, even though you could always bring him back, but he shouldn't come back. What it sets up, I don't know, because Aquaman's going nowhere anytime soon. Superman Cavill is back. Ben Affleck is not done with the role. There's always a chance of him coming back. Pattinson's Batman, I'm pretty sure it's just going to take place in a separate universe, which is fine. But Affleck is not done. They could always bring him back, and I want him back because I liked Affleck as Batman. I thought it was really good. He just had the wrong director for those films. And Gadot, she's only got one more film left, and I think she says she's done. So it's a very tricky situation. What happens? Like Flashpoint is going to be interesting. Regardless of like Ezra Miller's doing and all that, it is going to be an interesting film. But are they just going to throw a load of shit in a film and see what sticks? Because there's also that possibility. Blue Beetle is just going to be its own thing for now. He might play into the Justice League later or whatever. We don't know. I'm very much looking forward to that film.
Me too.
And that's it. Well, I think they're going to hit the reset button. The executive producer has gone.
Walter Hamada, yeah,
because he's rubbish.
Thank God for that, by the way.
Yeah, he was rubbish. So hopefully they bring in somebody good, and we go from there.
But
I got something to ask James, but I just want recent comments here. Atom Smasher was a derivative and too much like Ant-Man. Cyclone was just there. Both could have been.
Atom Smasher was before Ant-Man.
Yeah,
doesn't matter if it was before. We're talking about the character in the film, for fuck's sake. It was very derivative. Yeah.
Batman came first.
Yeah.
And Affleck is a decent Batman. So I just want to ask now. Rock's become a huge player in this, and his influence has definitely had a major part in maybe getting somebody like Cavill back just for a cameo. How much of a shot caller do you think he'll be within the DCEU, and how much stuff will he'll be dictating?
Depends on how well Black Adam performs. If Black Adam does really, really well, it will give him levity. If it doesn't, then he'll just fall in line. Simple as that. I don't think Zaslav plays around, you know what I mean? So it all
140 million at the box office. I'm not sure if that's good anymore.
I mean, for an opening
weekend, it's good.
During the financial crisis, and people just. I mean, again, I don't think a lot. I mean, again, I don't want to speak for everyone else, but I mean, a lot of people don't go to the movies anymore. But the fact that people went to the movies to see it, I mean, I think it's only good for it.
Is that domestic or worldwide?
I think it might be worldwide.
160 worldwide. I mean, that's teetering on okay. I mean,
well, we are talking just the first couple of days. Like
it depends. Look, I mean, it depends on what happens with week 2.
Yeah,
if there's a huge drop off, then we'll see.
Well, it depends what the budget was.
I can look that up though while you keep talking.
Yeah, have a quick look. Yeah.
But I think, I mean, the thing is that because we've got a guy with the star power of Dwayne, that other guys, because I think the thing is that when Robert Downey Jr. did Iron Man, it gave them kind of like, it gave Marvel kind of a jumping off point to start hiring guys who had a little bit of fame, had a bit of a notoriety before, so that to bring an actor in. So, like, for example, Paul Rudd had been an actor for ages before he was Ant-Man. They had, like, they could bring in Michael Douglas, and they could bring in, like, Chris Evans, who was he was the Human Torch. Yeah. I brought all these guys in who you recognize, but they kind of were the right guys for those roles. Whereas, like, I think, as I said, I think you guys are wrong when it comes to Robert Pattinson's Batman. I do think they're going to bring him in, because I think what they're going to do, because I know that for a fact they're bringing in Michael Keaton's Batman back, and they're bringing in who else to bring it in?
But that's because of parallel universes. If they're able to do that with Robert Pattinson, then you got an argument. But we don't know yet.
Listen, everything is up in the air, and to say I disagree with you would be wrong, because you literally don't know. You could have both of them in the film.
Yeah.
You could have all 3 Batmans in the film. You don't know.
I mean, Crisis on Infinite Earths. I mean, that
exactly.
Brandon Bruce Superman in it.
There's 3 Flashes in the Flash film, which we've seen in the trailers. So who's to say we won't get 3 Batmans?
Definitely.
Just before we move on, box office so far is 140 million for this weekend, is what it tentatively says. The budget was 195 million. I don't know if the 140 is worldwide or not. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. But
I'd be up for that. Sorry, I'm just talking about Daniel Vance's comment. Sorry.
Yeah, let me bring it up. Bring back Keaton's Batman is a perfect way to set up Batman Beyond moving forward.
Yeah.
Please WD bring us Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond is phenomenally good.
I think that was what their plan. I think that was in the plans, but again, everything is up in the air now. Mm-hmm. Literally everything. I mean, they got rid of Batgirl. We've still got Shazam coming out, which looks appalling, and that could just disappear, and they could end up after that comes out, they could just scrap Shazam completely. So we don't know. We honestly, it's difficult to predict because they don't have a good reputation, but it's interesting. Like, it is interesting to see what they do, because the main reason that Zaslav wanted to buy WB was because of DC, and he wants to make this, but he's more focused on the movie side of things. The TV side of thing, I don't think he gives a shit about, but he wants to, and it just depends, I don't know what else to say, because it's
I don't want to share necessarily a shared universe like they're doing with Marvel. I'm actually liking the fact that there are different universes for some of these different projects, like they do with Batman, like they do with Titans, like they do with Joker and all of that. That's they should do some of that. But I do think at some point, if they are going to be creating this universe, then they will need like a Thanos level character at some point. Don't you think?
Well, that would be your Crisis on Infinite Earths.
I was going to say, like, by building different universes, which I agree they should do, you bring it all together. Crisis on Infinite Earths. I mean, they did it on the CW as well. Doesn't mean whether they executed it well is not irrelevant, but they built up to that.
Mm-hmm. Well, we still have Darkseid, though, don't we? Like from the Snyderverse, who they can easily somehow bring in as that Thanos character.
And yeah, I mean, if the Snyderverse is its own thing, then yeah, you might have a situation where you have Darkseid from the Snyderverse come over into this prime DCEU universe, and because I don't consider the Snyderverse a part of the everything that happened after Batman v Superman, like just pivoted. You know what I mean? Like there's two separate timelines there. The Snyderverse Justice League, which I thought was good. I enjoyed the original Justice League. I know it was bland and I know it was basic, but I enjoyed it enough that I didn't hate it. You know what I mean? So it's like I get it that it wasn't what everybody wanted from the.
What they did with Batman. What they did with Batman was a tragedy, dude. They made him into a joke character, and
Whedon did, yeah.
Yeah, and as I said, I didn't hate it enough. I didn't dislike it enough to hate it, but I get everybody's gripes with it. And yes, the Martha thing, I know. But
that doesn't bother me as much as it bothers other people.
Well, the Martha thing was Batman versus Superman. It wasn't Justice League.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the problem is that the 4-hour Snyder cut, if you want to call it that, of the Justice League was better than the release film that we got from Zack Snyder and Flaming, what's his name, Josh Whedon.
That's pretty much what we're saying. I mean,
but I think is that what they need to do, as I said, is find a director who can sort of wrangle that amount of characters into something cohesive. Now, for me personally, and again, I'm talking for myself, if I would hire the guy who does the John Wick films and get him to do a superhero film, because I think that the John Wick films are basically superhero film, but with a noble guy. If that makes sense.
But you got to get the right character with him. I mean,
like for instance, I would get that director to do Punisher movies because that's ideal. Maybe even Blade. That's absolutely ideal because he's that gun Carter, that gun fu. That's where you need a director like that. But superhero films,
they could have had him for Deathstroke, like with the Deathstroke movie, even a Batman movie with Deathstroke involved.
Actually, one of my favorite episodes of Arrow, they hired one of the stunt coordinators did the directing for one episode of Arrow, and it really stood out for me because the one takes in that episode was absolutely amazing. And then when I realized that it was a stunt coordinator who did the directing, it totally made sense, And so they can do good fight scenes as well. It is possible. I mean, stunt coordinators are actually very good directors when they get given the opportunity.
Well, I mean, and the other thing they could do is they could go into more like the horror aspects of the DCU. Like, for example, there's horror-based characters like Constantine. I have to do that now. Swamp Thing, all that. So like the darker side of, Etrigan the Demon, so the darker side of the DCU. I'd be up for that if they did that because that's what Marvel isn't doing at the moment. They don't do anything that's I would consider quote unquote dark.
Well, they're bringing John Wick, Keanu Reeves back as Constantine.
I'd be up for that.
Really?
There's talks to bring. Yeah. Google it, you'll see it. There's talks to bring him back as Constantine. So.
I mean, but I mean, DC is or Marvel is doing kind of some of that stuff because I mean, in Doctor Strange, you had a little bit of that. I think in the next Doctor Strange movie, you're going to get some of that. I think some of the projects that they're working on.
I think the next Doctor Strange film is going to be multiversal again.
Is it?
How it ended? Yeah.
I mean, I know they're going to the dark dimension. I just figured that would be more
horror-esque.
Yeah, I figured there would be more horror-esque elements to it than the multiverse, which they tried to incorporate horror into that as best as possible, which for me kind of fell flat a little bit. But I mean, it was
the multiversal side fell flat.
Yeah. So, but back on DC, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like and I know you weren't here earlier, Ginger, but they need to get all their ducks in a row right now. Like they need to get their plan now, because in 2023 there are 4 DC movies coming out. Right now we have on the docket. I had it up here earlier. Hold on. We have Shazam in March, Flash in June, Blue Beetle in August, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom in December. Like there are 4 fucking DC movies next
year. When's Joker 2 coming out?
That's actually not on this list. I think this is just for the DCEU list.
Oh, right. Within that universe, you mean? Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. For this universe, like they need to really I hope they have their shit together, because the Rock can sit there and say, "Hey, pussy." The Rock can say, this is our phase 1. But here's the thing. You got to have a plan in place. You got 4 movies coming out. And if none of them are good and none of them are concise, consistent or concise with one another, it's all you're going to lose your momentum going into this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can't just sit there and proclaim. Go ahead.
Yeah. And if you botch phase 1, that's it. You're fucked.
Yeah.
You're fucked. You're going to have to just rely on doing one-off films from now on. And building one-off films in their own little world, because that's all people are gonna give a shit about going forward, because they're not gonna trust you to build a world. Let me just get my pillow out of the way so my cat don't sit on it. So, and they need to capitalize, because like the MCU is now in danger of going down. In general, like getting diminishing returns, and that's where DC need to step in, because if you don't, then you're fucked. Basically,
this is the last roll. This is the last roll of the dice for the DCEU, in my opinion. They've gone full superpower with getting someone like The Rock involved. He will give them that boost for sure. And now it's up to them to take advantage of everything. And one thing I liked about The Rock is that he's not an executive. I mean, he is and he isn't. He's somebody who understands what a good crowd reaction is, and he understands the need to give the people what they want. As somebody who's done entertainment in front of people, he knows all about that. While people like Walter Hamada sits in their fucking studio, sits in their fucking offices, gets reports and stuff like that, and doesn't really understand people. A lot of these execs don't, and that's why Henry Cavill did come back. And now what I've heard is that Henry Cavill's only done 2, he's only done 2 things. There's nothing concrete yet about him possibly doing more movies, but they put themselves in a position now where they have to get him on board for more movies, regardless of him not signing a new contract.
Because that's what the fans want.
Yeah, that's what the fans want.
And if you don't bring him back for films, then you've shit the bed, and nobody's going to give a fuck who comes in to replace him as Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
exactly.
I mean, the thing is that he's going to be doing Man of Steel 2, which, if they had any sort of praise, will be Brainiac, or will be Bizarro, or something like that, a proper Superman villain.
I think Black Adam should be the villain, because Black Adam and Superman always have that dynamic, because Superman is weak to magic. So it's like it is a perfect foil to Superman, and he's not a Kryptonian. Like, it's not going down that Kryptonian route, that same old Kryptonian route.
But who wins?
No,
Black Adam.
I don't know who wins yet. But look, whatever the next Superman film is, whether it be Black Adam 2 or Man of Steel 2, it has to be dealing with Black Adam, because that's how this film ends. They got to keep the continuity. So this film, Black Adam ended with Superman in it. And wherever we see Superman, he has to pick up from this particular position. Now, he can say, okay, I'll see you later, Black Adam, and maybe then they'll come back for a movie later on whilst he has to go back to Metropolis and deal with Parasite or something. Because personally, I wanted to keep it a little bit more grounded, that he doesn't have to deal with some sort of world-ending event. Maybe just a decent nemesis for him to take on, maybe save Lois Lane a couple of times and all of that shit. You know what I mean?
Just save Lois Lane a couple of times.
See, yeah, but you also you don't want to fall into the trap of Superman versus Black Adam, and then they unite together to fight a common enemy.
No.
Is something they'll fucking do, just like they did in Black Adam. And it's just what Superman
needs to do is find Shazam, and then them two come back together to fight Black Adam.
Oh well, there's already an animated movie that did a great job.
Yeah,
of that,
exactly.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, as I said, I'm all for them taking the good animated movies and turning them into like live action versions of that. Like,
agreed.
But like, and that's what I want to see. I want to see.
And if you do that, you bring on Justin Lin as executive producer, who's directed some of the best animated films.
Mm-hmm.
I get the guy who did. What's his name? The guy who did the animated universe. Tim. What's his name now?
Bruce Timm.
Yeah, Bruce Timm. Yeah.
No.
I don't know about Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm is.
He's too camp for this kind of thing.
Yeah, I
in a good way. I don't mean that. Please don't take me wrong. I love Bruce Timm, love his stuff, but he's too camp for the movie universe type.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they need to get what's his nuts from the animated animated movie universe.
Yeah, Justin Lin.
Yeah, Justin Lin. I keep forgetting his name. But I mean that's what they need to lean on that. Like they need to lean on the fact that DC is darker, and that's okay. DC can be darker, but don't be like Snyder dark. Like don't be like draining all the gamma out of the dark. I mean,
I just want when they do Superman, I just want them to go back to some classic takes of him just being a hero and rescuing people, falling out of a building, whatever. Somebody.
But you got to have some big baddie. Like you can't just have a.
I'm not doubting that. I'm not doubting that, but. One of the things that made the Reeves film so endearing was that he was doing everyday heroics as well. Of course, you got to mix it up, but he like that really wasn't the case in Man of Steel.
Yeah, but they did that in Superman Returns, and it got criticized for that. And I understand the whole continent building, everything like that was stupid. I understand that. I liked Superman Returns.
But Superman's best scene was him rescuing people when the airplane scene.
Oh yeah, the airplane scene.
The airplane scene and that was him doing what Superman does best, saving people's lives. So they never had enough of that. If they had more of that and less of the stupid melodrama with Lois and the sun and fucking the Krypton land and all that shit, it would have been a lot better film.
Yeah, but who would have been your main baddie at that point? It
still could be Lex Luger, but it just has to be done. It just has to be written better. That's all. It was just a very bad film, And with people like Brandon Routh as Superman, no one ever really thought he was a shit Superman.
No, I didn't either. I thought he was great. I love it when they brought him back in the CW versus.
He was great in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was great.
I'm sad that they didn't go all the way with that because I mean, spoilers for Crisis on Infinite Earths. I mean, in the last one or like two or the last two parts of that, like Lex Luthor replaced him as the whatever. I don't even remember what it was.
He killed him, didn't he? I think.
No, he didn't kill him. He replaced him. He used the Book of Ashanti or whatever it's called to switch places with Brandon Routh's Superman because he was like the pillar of hope or something, and then Lex Luthor made himself the pillar of hope or whatever it's fucking called. I don't know. Anyway, go ahead, Boss Man.
I know. I was just gonna say. Well, I mean, as I said, they just need to build up a massive villain because the one thing that Marvel did do that was great was that it built up Thanos for 4 or 5 movies at least before you saw him. So,
honestly, here's the thing with Thanos. I don't think they did that great of a job building Thanos. Like we saw Thanos, and we did see him in Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. We saw him actually kind of doing things, except sitting in a chair and yelling at people. But but the Thanos really didn't hit his stride until we got to Infinity War, and that's what
they did with Infinity War. I agree with you, by the way. They didn't build him up great there. When you get like fucking Whedon going with "fine, I'll do it myself" and coming in at the end, it's like fuck off. But Infinity War was Thanos' film, and that's what was good about it is it focused on the villain, and it did a great job. So you don't necessarily have to build up your villain greatly, but what you do have to do is have them in there for a good chunk or half of the film. And building them up in there, and not everything again, we don't always have to build up to like a big event just yet. Let's just get a couple of good get a good couple of solo films out there, a couple of tiny little crossovers here and there, and all this kind of shit, and then just and then go from there. But build the universe up first, and then see where you go. Because at the moment, God, even Black Adam being as bland as it is like you need to build some interest. And And the best way for them to rescue this is to bring in the people from the Snyderverse. I know that sounds crazy, but with a better director.
Well, and I don't think a lot of people had an issue with any of the actors. Like, I never had an issue with. I loved Ben Affleck as Batman. I loved that casting. Everybody was against it at first, and I was like, I love this idea. Like, this is exactly what I meant.
Yeah,
I loved it from the start. Henry Cavill Superman. I loved it. Like, I didn't know him prior to Man of Steel, but once I saw Man of Steel, I was in love with Henry Cavill Superman. Well, I don't like. I never liked Barry Allen's Flash, but that's because I'm Grant Gustin's my Flash mama.
Ezra Miller's the only casting I just didn't like his Barry Allen. Yeah, I liked Cyborg. Ray Fisher as Cyborg was great. In fact, he was one of the best things in the Justice League film.
Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, although I had some issues with her in the beginning. Once her first movie came out, she was great. And then Aquaman, Aquabro is just kind of Aquabro. I don't care enough about Aquaman to care about what they changed about him. So I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm going to ask you guys a question now. Like, do you think Ray Fisher might come back? Because the thing is that given what happened to him and what he said about
blacklisted because he ran his mouth off too much.
Yeah,
that's what
I think he overdid. He overplayed what happened, and he's been running the victim complex with it. And in Hollywood, that just gets you blacklisted.
Yeah, but he can easily play the. And I say this with the utmost respect. You know, I don't blame him playing the race card if they are somehow going to give Ezra Miller a second chance or a third or fifth chance even, and then like bury Ray Fisher. That would be just totally wrong.
Yeah, because, I agree.
Ezra Miller's got like what Ezra Miller's done is far worse. I mean, Ray Fisher was just running his mouth off. Ezra Miller actually committed crimes, and he's
but the crimes weren't against the WB, and that's what the WB's looking at. Like, they don't care about Ezra Miller's; they just care about their image. So Ray Fisher has, and I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying this is how they're looking at it. Is Ray Fisher ran his mouth about WB and about the director and about the sets and everything like that,
and the producer Hamada as well.
Yeah, and the producer, but Barry not Barry Allen, God, Ezra Miller is doing things that don't necessarily. They're just worried about him tarnishing the WB reputation with his actions. But if they can get away with it, they don't mind.
He's literally someone who should be fucking cancelled. When we talk about this notion of cancel culture, it's okay to cancel. You can cancel him. There's enough evidence there to say he's not a good guy.
Well, but wasn't Ray Fisher vindicated when Joss Whedon was found out to be, a bit of a creeper anyway? You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I would 100% rehire Ray Fisher. I'm just telling you how the mentality of Hollywood is. Ray Fisher did a great job because he's actually a fucking hero because I think he was the first to call out Whedon, and then it snowballed, and then all this shit came out afterwards of what he's like. I know it was there before because of his wife kind of alluding to it, and then like Charisma Carpenter and all that kind of came out. But when Ray Fisher did it, then everyone else started doing it again, and it really like punched Whedon in the gut, and he got his comeuppance. And that, so he should be commended for that and fucking hired as Cyborg because he was great.
I would not have any gripes about him coming back as Cyborg. I mean, I agree with him taking some distance from all that, but at the same time, it's like if he wants to come back, let him come back.
I think also enough time has passed. It won't be a bigger deal, and especially with Ezra Miller now taking the spotlight of being the bad boy. I think Ray Fisher can come back quite easily, in my opinion. I think enough time has passed.
But the question is as well, we've got to ask is, does he want to come back? Because I don't think he does.
Well, where's his career? Where's his career going at the moment? I mean, like this is it. This is his best shot, being part of a franchise, a DC universe, stuff like that. He can't ask for more, really. Cyborg is massive as a superhero, so he should take it with both hands if he gets an opportunity. That is. No one was recasting. People are fed up with recastings and stuff like that. You can make plausible ones with Batman and obviously Ezra Miller's Flash. But then after that, if you start recasting everyone else, then it's just like, what's the point? You might as well just restart the universe.
I keep trying to get Ginger recast, but I mean, you keep telling me no.
I'm irreplaceable, baby.
So
yeah, well, as I said, I'm usually against recastings in general because let somebody find that character, because sometimes it takes a guy 2-3 films. That's why I wasn't particularly a big fan of them recasting the Hulk every 5 minutes. It's like, first of all, it was Eric Bana.
Literally been 3. Like, I mean,
no, that's what I mean.
Edward Norton's a bitch to deal with.
Yeah, well,
Ang Lee is not really part of the MCU.
Yeah, but Eric Bana should have been able to play the Hulk again, in my opinion.
No.
He was nothing special. I did don't get me wrong, I love Ang Lee's Hulk. I know a lot of people don't, but I love it. But Eric Bana's it was nothing special. And it was too fucking chiseled, too bulky to play, to be a believable kind of Bruce.
That's why I liked Edward Norton's look as Bruce Banner, because he kind of had that lean little nerdish.
Yeah, he looked like a fucking mouse. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why, I mean, because what's his nuts?
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. Sorry, I forgot his name. But Mark Ruffalo, I mean, he's still he's a bit of a stocky. Yeah, he's smaller, but he's not like, as I said, like lanky, like skinny lanky, like Bruce Banner is portrayed in the comics all the time. So that's why I was kind of.
No, but he's still believable because he looks like a nerd. You know what I mean? And I love Ruffalo is the Hulk for me.
As I said, I would rather him than Norton anyway.
Norton, I just don't like as a person, or as an actor, he was okay at the beginning.
Sam, then you're calling.
Oh man, we're all sorted, all of us now.
All right.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah,
sweet.
Guys, we've hit the big time. How do we block these motherfuckers? We've hit the big time.
We need Vance to do his duties.
Thank you very much.
But I would have personally liked Edward Norton to have come back because I like Edward Norton. But I know people say that he's he's got that difficult label on him, which I never liked, to be honest with you. It's like, such artist. It's like Val Kilmer will get that a lot, and he's not difficult if you actually listen to what people say about him. He's actually a nice guy. It's just like he's there.
No, he is difficult. He literally took over the production of Hulk and American History X, and he's just a pain in the ass to work with. His reputation is valid. He might be a decent person, like with actors and all this kind of stuff, but to work with, he's a control freak. And if that's the case, just become a director then. Starring.
There's a lot of actors I've heard Ben Kingsley's hard to work with, as well, and he's part of the MCU.
Yeah, but he doesn't. I wouldn't say he has a major role in the MCU. Like he was in
doubt, but
movie, and honestly, his role was not. If you think about it, his role was not that huge. In the MCU.
He's been in 2 films and that short, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I forgot he was in Shang-Chi. I try to block out the fact that he was in Shang-Chi.
But it's still like actors who are hard to work with. It happens now and again. I think I heard Russell Crowe's hard to work with. All types of actors.
I heard his accent's hard to work with.
Yeah. They're hard to work with, but they're just hard to work with.
They're perfectionists.
In that they're perfectionists. There's a difference between that and Edward Norton taking over your entire fucking production. He's next level. He's like Stallone level. Difficult to work with, kind of thing, which is why
Stallone's difficult to work with.
Stallone was very difficult to work with. Oh my god, he was a huge fucking diva, massive diva. That's why they just ended up ditching him because they were just like, oh fuck this,
Yeah.
That's why he went and did the Expendables, because nobody would probably hire him to do.
Yeah, he did the Expendables because nobody would fucking hire him.
Well, he took over like the directing duties in Creed 2 after the first one. Obviously, he wanted that film to end in a way that was a happy ending for Rocky. So I can understand why he did that. It is his what do you call it? It is his baby as well, Rocky. So
Rocky, he's fucking absolutely allowed to do whatever he wants with it. It's his creation.
And he's also in the MCU, by the way. Don't forget that. I forgot the name of the character. He's in Guy. I forgot the name of the character that he plays, but I don't think we'll be seeing him anytime soon. within the MCU. But yeah,
I think
he's in Guardians 3.
I was gonna say I think they're all in Guardians 3. I think they're gonna come across that ragtag group and like they're not gonna be a major part of it, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna come across that old Yondu team. That the after Yondu died, they all got together, and Miley Cyrus is a fucking robot head or something like that bullshit.
Really?
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus is very talented. People give her a lot of stick. Yeah,
she's talented as a singer. I mean, I don't know about anything else. I mean, you know, I like a lot of her early stuff, but after like, you know,
Rocky. Oh no, her later stuff. I just love her voice. Like, I think she's a great singer. Brilliant singer. Underrated.
Yeah, a lot of people like to give a shit. I like Miley Cyrus.
No, I like her. Yeah. I like her. She winds up. She winds the press up a lot with her antics. Because it really, like, they try so hard to bring her down, and she's just like, well, I'll just do it even more then. Fuck you. And she knows how to play them really, really well. She's fucking clever. And, just love
it. By the way, back to DCEU.
That's what we're talking about?
If I was to cast Booster Gold, I'm trying to think, he's a cocky little shit.
I think they should cast Ginger as Booster Gold.
You're looking for recognized actors, right? Gary. Sometimes like these actors become famous by being Booster Gold. You know, like Chris Hemsworth, even though he did Home and Away and stuff like that, it wasn't until he was 4. I know he was Kirk's dad, all of that, but it wasn't
for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it wasn't until until he became a household name. Same, you know, same with Loki. I forgot his name now.
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston. They became household names when they were in the MCU. Some of these people end up being household names once they're in a massive property like Marvel. So, you know, regardless, as long as they get the right person and they hire the right person, I don't mind. Shang-Chi, for instance, I have no idea who that fucking guy was until he became Shang-Chi. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But, see, 20, 30 years ago, Brendan Fraser would have been a fucking great Booster Gold.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
These days, it's better to just get an unknown to play him, you know.
Maybe. I don't know. I said, but yeah, I said, I agree with what she had said, that, you know, they need to think about where they're going for that. You know, what stories do they want to tell? You know, what these, you know, do they want to tell? Like, you know, the Infinite Crisis.
Oh, sorry.
Infinite Crisis, or flaming, you know, Identity Crisis, or flaming Flashpoint. You know, like we'll do Flashpoint, but like A stories like that. I mean, they've got like so much stuff that they can tell. And the thing is that I think Marvel's like gone through most of its good stuff.
Marvel barely touched its good stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. I'm sorry. The Avengers were never their good stuff, in my opinion. I mean, like the Avengers in the movies are good stuff, but like in the comic books, no. Like the Avengers were never, to me, they were never good stuff. Like,
they weren't their good stuff until Quesada took over, and then they were good. Before that, they were just D-listers.
Yeah, they were just like, what do we do with these random D-list characters? Like, what was it? And Captain America wasn't even in the first Avengers. They needed more star power in the Avengers, so they put Captain America in there. The first Avengers was like, it was Iron Man, Wasp, Ant-Man, Thor, Hulk,
and Hulk. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. And then Cap came later, and then they just started rolling in all the other wannabes.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, fellas, I think we've yabbed on long enough. We've been going on for about an hour, and we pretty much said what we have to say. Anything more to add regarding The Rock, DCEU, anything along those lines?
No, just going to be interesting to see what they do.
I think that's I think that they hopefully will jump on for this, and they, as I said, hopefully if they do well, it'll force Marvel to reevaluate, you know, Phase 5 and make it better.
They're reevaluating Phase 5 not because of DC, it's because of the people. Sorry, Phase 4. But I mean, in the sense of reevaluating Phase 5 in the sense that, you know, okay, how we're going to do Phase 5 because of the feedback they've been getting over Phase 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more to do with their own stuff. I really don't think they're that concerned about DC. They've cemented themselves so well that they can bring out a few duds and keep going. Like honestly, a lot of the stuff that's come out in this phase 4 hasn't been too great, but have we watched everything they brought out? Yes, we've watched it all. You know what I mean? And Black Panther's going to be coming out.
Which should be great.
Ant-Man
looking forward
3,
to that.
all of that. So whatever, at the moment they've got enough credit in the bank that they can have a shit phase, even not let alone shit movies, a shit phase.
Well, it pretty much has been. I mean, the best stuff from Marvel right now has been in the Disney Plus shows. Like, I mean,
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Spider-Man No Way Home, and I think Black Panther is going to be good. I think that's going to be a really good movie. I can already foresee that.
Yeah,
but
it looks amazing.
Oh yeah. But here's the thing: Spider-Man No Way Home is Sony, and like, yes, it's MCU. I understand that, but it's just like you kind of half count it, like it's still kind of half. But so yeah, anything
it's
good.
got Doctor Strange in it, and
Doctor Strange was okay. Like it was,
and the previous films have had Iron Man and Nick Fury and the Skrull and all of these guys. Like it's not like it's not connected to the MCU proper. It is. And so even though Sony has its part to play and it might go a different direction now after this movie, I still look at it as part of the MCU. So
okay, but anyway. Still, I mean, I think
let's not dwell on that one too much.
Yeah. All right then, guys. Well, look, we'll hopefully we'll get some more news regarding this. Catch me tomorrow for Game of Thrones, the final episode, as well as Quantum Leap on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We will be all talking about Andor. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, as soon as I'm done here, I'm gonna start putting the streams up. So if you guys want to click that notification button, so it'll notify you when Zemi goes live.
And remember, the Reverse Flash is the greatest DC supervillain of all fucking time. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. I'll catch you guys later. Bye bye.